Hello students, welcome back to my 10 minutes math channel. This is teacher Brenda, okay? And today we would look or explore the topic of time, and we would be looking into what are time conversions, okay? So this is part 7 and this is time conversions, the basics, okay? When we learn, after learning 12 hours, 24 hours, you know, the calendar system, and everything that's basic of time, we now learn how to convert these units of time. Now, I'm sure you would have heard terms like minutes, seconds, hours, weeks, days, years, months, decades, century, and even millennium. Some of you may not have heard of these words. Some of you may be familiar. But today we are going to look at all these units of time. All these are called the units of time. And we are going to see how are they linked up with each other. Now, just a little short intro here, okay? It all starts with the seconds, okay? This is the smallest unit of time. So, if you have 60 seconds, all right? If you counted 60 seconds, then you will make 1 minute, okay? And if you have 60 minutes, then you will make 1 hour, okay? And if you have 24 hours, remember, okay, it's not 60 hours, it's 24 hours, then you make 1 day, okay? And if you have 7 days, you make 1 week. And you have 4 weeks, you make 1 month. And if you have 12 months, then you make 1 year. Okay, 12 months makes a year. You're January to February and until December. And then from years, you go to decades. If you have 10 years, okay, then it's considered as a decade. So if you are in standard 4, if you're 10 years old, then you're actually 1 decade year old. All right. And from decades, if you have 10 decades, then it makes a century. Okay, a century. And if you have 10 centuries, it makes a millennium. So it's almost like a bridge that links up all these units. And that's what we are going to explore today. Okay, so let's go on to our next slide. Over here, we'll start off with the seconds. Okay, so on the screen, you can see, okay, the clouds, the units in clouds. So it starts with the seconds, okay? It goes to the minutes. And as I told you earlier, if you have 60 seconds, then you will get 1 minute. Whichever way you write it, 1 minute equals to 60 seconds or 60 seconds equals to 1 minute is the same. Now the magic number, or I would call it the conversion number, okay? A better way of saying it is the conversion number, but I like to call it simply by the term magic number. So it's the number between 60 and between the seconds and the minutes. So whenever I want to find, say for example, I know 1 minute is 60 seconds. How about 3 minutes? So I'm very sure you know that if 1 minute is 60 seconds, 3 minutes, you're going to get more than 60 seconds. So given the minute, asked to find the seconds. So given the minute, asked to find the seconds, you multiply. Multiply by what? Multiply with 60. So you take 3 and times with 60. 0, put a 0 at the back. 3 times 6, 18. This means 3 minutes is equivalent to 180 seconds. On the other way around, okay, if you had 300 seconds, in other words, you are given the seconds and you are asked to find how many minutes. So now you do a division, you go the other way around. So you take 300 and you divide by 60. Okay, you take 300 and you divide by 60. You take 300 seconds and you divide it by this magic number. So what would you get? If you do this, you can do it in the fraction way. You take 300, divide by 60. You'll cut a zero up and down. You're left with 30, divide by 6, and that gives you 5. So 300 seconds means 5 minutes. How long is this? Can you hold your breath for 5 minutes? Most of us, we can't. Can you hold your breath for 3 minutes, for 180 seconds? You can't. So you also have to know in real sense, how long is this time? Okay, to really have a good understanding of seconds, I would suggest take a deep breath and see how long you can hold your breath. How many seconds? What's your record? Okay, compare yourself with swimmers and divers, or maybe even with your family members at home. Okay, you'll get a good sense of how long a second is. And can you imagine 60 seconds means 1 minute? Now from there, we move on to minutes, to the conversion of minutes to hours. So now, if you have 60 minutes, then you have 1 hour. Okay, again, the conversion number is 60 here. It's easy to remember. Now, questions can be like, given 180 minutes, ask you to find how many hours. So they give you the minutes, ask you to find the hours, you divide. Okay, if they give you the hours, they ask you to find the minutes, then you do a multiplication. It's just like a circle. Okay, so 180 minutes divide by 60 to find how many hours. So divide by 60, write it out like a fraction, cut up and down. So 18 divided by 6 and you'll have 3. So this is 3 hours. What about 6 hours? 6 hours is how many minutes? So if 1 hour is 60 minutes, you are going to multiply 6 with 60. So you have a 0 here, you immediately put in a 0. 6 times 6 is 36. So you will have 360 minutes. Simple conversion of time. Okay, so let's clear this and move on to the next slide, in which we have now the conversion from hours to days and to weeks. And if you look carefully here, the number has changed because there's no 60 hours in one day. There's only 24 hours in one day. So your job is to remember these numbers. Okay, is to always try to remember what's the conversion number between these units. So between hours and days, you have 24, which means what? One day is made up of 24 hours. So look at this question. It's asking you for 7 days. Obviously, your answer must be a huge number. And that means logically, you'll have to multiply. You multiply by this 24 because that's the conversion number between hours and days. So you'll have to do 7 times 24. Now, how do you do this mentally? Take your 4, multiply by 7. So 4 times 7 is 28, right? So put your 8 down and write your 2 on top of the tens house. Now take 2 times 7 and that's 14. Add with that 2 there that you have, that's 16. So you can do this straight away in your mind, mental maths, and get 168 hours as your answer. If you can't do this, then you do the standard written method. Take 24, multiply by 7, or you can do lattice method or whatever method you want to, as long as you get to the right answer. This is multiplication at work. Now, what if you have 48 hours and you're asked to find how many days? Remember, 24 hours makes 1 day. So if you have 48 hours, they're asking you how many days do you have? So given hours asked to find days, given the hours asked to find days, you divide. Okay, given days asked to find hours, you multiply. So what is 48 divided by 24? Well, you can just do here and you can see that it simplifies. This will become 2 and this will become 1, table 24. Okay, so 48 hours is 2 days. Sometimes you hear when you grow big, maybe you go to work, your boss might say, I'll give you 48 hours to finish this assignment, get it done by then. So now you know 48 hours means 2 days of time in terms of days. Okay, now let's look at our next example or conversion here, which is from days to weeks. Now you all know we have 7 days in a week. These are your days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, now what if they give you 28 days and they ask you how many weeks is that? So yes, if 1 week is 7 days, 28 days must be 28 divided by 7. So you should know your times table for 28 is such an easy number. 7, 14, 21, 28, which means you have 4 weeks. Pretty much 4 weeks is exactly 28 days. Because, yeah, you see, you only have 7 days in a week. So 7 is the first week, 14 is 2 weeks, 3 weeks is 21 days, 4 weeks is 28 days. Pretty much, if you remember your times table 7, you can already remember the conversion between weeks and days. If you know times table 24, then it will be easy for you to do the conversion from hours to days. Okay. Now, what about this question here? 6 weeks is how many days? If 1 week is 7 days, 6 weeks is 6 times 7, which is 42 days. All right. With that said, now we're going to look at more conversions. Okay. Say now we look into days and weeks and months and years. I believe this is almost repeating from the previous slide. So let's look at this. Given 49 days, asked to find how many weeks. So given days, asked to find week, divide by 7. So 49 divided by 7, it's 7 weeks. Given weeks, asked to find days. So given the week, asked to find days. So the other way around, you multiply. So 7 times 7 will be 49 days. Almost like the same question here. But let's move on and look here into weeks and months. So the general conversion, okay, when it comes to weeks and months is 4 weeks equals 1 month. So if you have 16 weeks, how many months is that? So take 16 and divide by 4 and you will have 4 months. If you have 20 months, okay, how many weeks is that? So if 1 month is 4 weeks, 20 months is 20 times 4. And that will give you 80 weeks. You see, what is important is you're either dividing or you're multiplying with these numbers, with these conversion numbers that sit in between the units. Now let's look at the months and the relationship between months and years. So we all know we have 12 months in a year. How many years is it if you said you took a project and this house, you were to build a house and it took 36 months for you to build this house? How many years would that be? Take 36 and divide by 12 and you would know that is 3 years if you knew your times table 12 well, because 12, 24, and the next multiple of 12 is 36. So 36 divided by 12 is 3. So 36 months is equivalent to 3 years. What about 2 years? 2 years is how many months? Of course, the answer is right here, 24 months. So for this, you need to know your times table 12. To convert weeks and months easily, you need to know your times table 4. Now, when you know and when you're able to do this, these are simple conversions. You would be able to solve questions, okay, that require you to convert units of time. And this is just the basic. So if you understood, hit the like button and keep a lookout for the next lesson, which is also conversion, but intermediate. Okay, so have a good day. Till then, stay safe, stay blessed. Take care. Bye-bye.